It's your boy JT and Entitled Kings. We live, man. Stop what you're doing right now. Subscribe below. Follow us on Twitter at Entitled Kings. Instagram at Entitled Kings. EntitledKings.com. We're sitting here with Mr. Justin Jordan. Now today we're doing something different. We usually do our interviews behind the camera. This is the first face-to-face interview. This is exclusive. And we're looking at a man that's not a rapper. He's not a producer. He's not a photographer. He doesn't dabble in anything that has to do with the music business. He's actually a successful black business owner, man. Mr. Justin Jordan, how you doing today, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Awesome, man. I'm doing well, man.
That's good.
Like I say, like I said earlier, man, I'm inspired when I meet with you. When I come around you, man, it's always good, positive vibes, always.
I'm glad you feel that way.
And like I say, it's inspiration, man. It's just the lifestyle that you live and just coming into your house, the way you think, it's a breath of fresh air, man. And it's very inspiring, man. And like I said, I'm proud of you in the same sense too, man.
Appreciate it.
I think you have a very interesting story. For the people that don't know, man, just tell us a little bit about where you're from and a little bit more about your upbringing.
Okay. Well, I'm from Dallas originally. I went to Plano Senior High. I graduated in 2006.
Okay.
I played football there. I was all-state at Plano. I went on to play at Blinn because, I acted out a little bit in high school, so I couldn't go D1. So that was my first lesson I had to learn.
Right. So when you say acted out, what do you mean?
I got in trouble, ripping and running on the streets, not doing what I was supposed to do, not really taking life seriously,
Right.
When you're good in Plano, in any type of sport, you get a lot of things handed to you, So when you have that and you're from that bubble, you expect things to be given to you. You don't expect to get in trouble,
Right.
You think everybody's gonna do stuff for you, So that's the type of experiences that I had. So, I was blinded by the light.
Yeah. So you go into Plano. I know Plano's a huge city. It has 3 major high schools, correct?
Yeah.
So you got Plano West, Plano East, and you got Plano Senior High right in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Just tell us a little about the environment at Plano Senior High.
Well, Plano Senior High was a lot different for me. It was predominantly white. It wasn't as white as Plano West. Most of my friends and family members went to Plano East. So I had that upbringing. I had pretty much the best of both worlds.
Right.
Predominantly Caucasian people. That spoke very well, highly educated people, and then having my other friends and family members that are educated as well, but they had more street knowledge,
Right.
So I got the best of both worlds in that aspect.
Right. So you get to Plano Senior and you end up graduating all-state football.
Yeah.
And at that point when you were, filling out, just getting ready to go to college, what schools were you trying to go to?
I was trying to go to Miami. I looked for Miami, Iowa, SMU, K-State, a lot of big name schools, but
right.
I got in trouble and my grades weren't good.
Okay.
So with your grades not being good, you got to go to junior college, and that's the route I ended up going down. I went to Blinn where Cam Newton played.
Okay.
I was there while he was there. I got All-American there, and again, I was in another small town, Brenham, Texas, where Blinn is, and I thrived there, but not in a worldly sense. I thrived as a football player.
Right.
And what I mean by that is when you're good at football, you get everything handed to you and people do stuff for you. So I had my schooling done by people. I had financial aid taken care of by people, scholarship, again, getting handouts,
right.
Handouts. So you really think it's helping you, but it's really enabling you.
Exactly.
Especially as a young black man, you think oh man, these teachers are looking out for me, X, Y, and Z, but they're really not. They're really hurting you. It's really detrimental to you to grow as a young black man in society.
Yeah, absolutely. You see that a lot right now. It's starting to come out a lot of colleges, and it's it's almost like the crippling you, the disabling you.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So at that point, so you got everybody handing you everything that you need.
Yeah.
What do you do to get in trouble? Why were you still dabbling in the streets when you have all these opportunities? You have, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't understand. It's like you said, you had the best of both worlds, but it sounds like you had a pretty good upbringing as far as school and people, everybody was there for you as far as playing football. At what point did you feel let me ask you this, why were you still dabbling in things that you didn't have any business?
Because when your ego is so inflated and you think that no one can tell you what to do or how to do it,
right.
Some things that are so mundane and make common sense, they don't make common sense to you. You want to do those things. You want to hang out with the wrong people. You want to do these type of things. Not necessarily drugs, alcohol, or drinking, just mischievous, stupid stuff, you know, that you don't think there will be consequences behind it, you know? So those are the type of things I kept doing, you know? A, not going to class because I know I could get away with it. Right. B, having other people do my work, you know? Just stupid stuff, stupid immature stuff.
It's just like you almost considered you felt like you were a local celebrity.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
And my main thing now is self-sabotaging. When a person gets to a certain point in their life, they feel like they've achieved a certain amount, they self-sabotage. And what I mean by that, like, say you're doing great, like I became an All-American, right? Mm-hmm. My coaches wanted me to do certain things so I could get to OU, and this is at Blinn. I decided not to do those things, you know? I could have been playing at OU, you know?
Right.
And I just chose not to do those things, self-sabotaging, because I thought I was better than anybody that tried to tell me to do anything.
Right.
So that's how it ended up working out. But everything that happens to you for a reason. I definitely believe in that, you know?
That's interesting that you say self-sabotage, because you see a lot of people almost reach a certain level of success and then the self-sabotage hits.
Oh yeah, definitely. They don't know how to break through.
Right. There's a breaking point. And it's almost like you're going to another level and you only elevate higher when you get past this little rough patch.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So
definitely.
It's so you get to that point to where you feel like, okay, you had an opportunity to go to OU. OU being one of the biggest schools, obviously, you know, for football, a lot of greats, Adrian Peterson. At what point did you feel like, and just for people at home, what position were you playing at this point?
I played running back and receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're on your way to OU if you do the right things. You choose not to, and where does that put you in a position?
Well, I had other options. I had USC, Florida. I had any big name school you could think of. But that's really where I wanted to go because my grandmother, she really liked OU. So I wanted to go play there. But I didn't end up doing the right things, and I ended up going to Southern Miss. Reason being is because, again, being immature, the coaches offered me certain things, and I decided to take those certain things. That's why I ended up in Hattiesburg. And I was being immature. I hated Hattiesburg when I got there. Right. I didn't want to be there. It was a culture shock for me. Totally different people there. I didn't appreciate it, so it didn't work out. I only lasted there almost not even a year.
Yeah, so you can just explain for people to know that they're not from the South. Just explain the environment in Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Hattiesburg, Mississippi is like going back in time to like the 1950s.
Wow. So
you go back in time and certain people look at you a certain way, they treat you a certain way. You know, in that small town called Plano, you know, that bubble, at least they give you a chance to hear you. You know, if they see how you carry yourself or how you speak, they'll judge you off of that, not initially off the color of your skin, you know?
Exactly.
So it was just a different vibe, man. I didn't like it at all, so I had to take myself out of that situation.
So you're there, you're playing football, Southern Miss. You still playing football?
Yeah.
Are you playing both sides or just playing offense?
No, just playing offense.
Okay, so you're just playing offense. You say, hey, you know what, this is not for me in Mississippi.
Yeah, it wasn't for me because I got into a conflict with one of my coaches there. You know, when you work so hard and you know you're the best and you don't see eye to eye with somebody, I'm an extremist. You know, so I don't take. I'm more of a giver. You know, I always push. I don't take. You know, so they didn't see eye to eye with me. So pretty much I said fuck it. You know, you can't tell me that I'm not good enough. I just came off an All-American season, first team All-American. I was #1 rated receiver coming out of junior college. So you really can't tell me shit. So they didn't see eye to eye with me. So I got into a fight with one of my coaches, and I said fuck it, and I left. You know, and I knew I could go somewhere else. Being immature, instead of riding it out and proving myself there, I didn't. I decided to leave. You know, and another thing that I've learned, every time a door is closed in your face, or every time something bad happens to you, it's not a curse or it's not really a negative. You need to see it as a positive, because believe me, every time something bad has happened to me in my life, right behind that door that was shut in my face, a fucking gate was open. Something way better, a better opportunity fell into my lap because that opportunity, that door was shut in my face. You know, so that's how I see things.
Awesome, man. So, I mean, you get to that point to where you hear a lot of stories about athletes getting to it with the coaches, and they quit or they become a label gets put on them.
Yeah.
In these, in the combine, and they start losing stock in the draft because of a certain conflict or a certain incident that happens with the coach.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times you hear about a lot of guys that coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Oh yeah.
I
can tell you so many stories, even including myself. That I give you an example, like Rex Burkhead, who plays for the Patriots. He was my backup in high school.
Right.
I can tell you so many different instances where my backup is now like in the league or was in the league for 2-3 years, and played. So that goes to show me that it's not about how good you are; it's about being an all-around person.
Right. So at that point, you get to Southern Miss, you leave, you get into it with the coach. At that point, what are you thinking? What is your goal? What are you going to do now?
Well, my whole thing was I'm a all-in type of person.
Right.
Like, I don't have backup plans. I put all my eggs in one basket. So I said I was going to make it to the league. That was it. I didn't give a fuck about anything else.
Right.
That was it. I worked my ass off. I trained. I did what I had to do. And that was it. So at that point, I came back home and was like just fucking around, wasting my time, working out a little bit here and there,
right.
and just doing odd and stuff, I lived at home with my parents for a little bit. I lived with a couple of my girlfriends at a period of time, And then when I decided I wanted to play again, I put my all back into it. I didn't know how I was going to go back to college, I didn't know who was going to pay for it. I didn't know any of that stuff.
Right.
So, if you believe it, you achieve it. One day I got a call from one of my old teammates that said they had a spot open at D2. Got the call, coach saw my tape, and he gave me an offer. And I was back playing at 26 years old.
Right.
Yeah, so
what school is this?
At Fort Valley State in Georgia.
Okay.
So when you will something and you want something so bad and you work for it, it happens, man. I just believe it. I don't believe in luck. I believe in hard work.
All right, awesome, man. And I do too, man. So at that point, you get to that point to where you go back to Georgia, you're playing football again. What happens there at Georgia?
Man, it's funny how life works. You think you want something so bad, and then that opportunity presents itself, and you realize it's dog shit.
Right.
So me being that age, being around younger people, 17, 18 years old, I realized this ain't the life for me. And especially when football is a team sport, it's dictated almost like a slave mentality. And I hate to use that term, but that's how extreme I am. I want you to understand, your life is not in your hands. Nothing about the game or any game, professional sport, collegiate sport, it has nothing to do with you unless you're talking about tennis or golf or some individual sport like that, especially football. So if you're the best player in the team, you can get lost in those other 22 or 21 players on the field if you're good, because if the coach doesn't decide he wants to give you the ball, or that quarterback decides he doesn't want to throw you the ball, or he doesn't want to check down and hand you the ball, you can sit over there on a fucking island all day and not get the ball, and nobody knows how good you are.
Right.
So that's what I started to see, and that's what I started to realize, and I didn't appreciate it. So me being myself, I realized that I can't work for anybody else. I can't play for anybody else. No one can tell me what to do, because at the end of the day, no one works as hard as me. So I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it anymore.
So you quit football?
I quit. I had opportunity I had a couple teams looking at me, Arizona, Patriots, X, Y, and Z. Right. I said, no, I'm done. Because at the end of the day, you got to think about it. I always told myself when I got there, I was going to buy this car, I was going to have this house, I was going to have these girls, X, Y, and Z. Yeah. But after football, you see after 3 years, all those professional athletes go broke. And that's what I started to think about because I was a little bit older. I was asking myself, how am I going to take care of myself? Yeah. If I ended up having a family, how was I going to take care of that family? And I didn't want to go down that route. So hence why I got tattoos on my face. And I said, nobody's going to hire me, A, with my background, B, I'm black, C, I got a terrible attitude, and I got tattoos on my face. I put myself in a situation where I had to succeed working for myself.
So you had no choice.
Had no choice. And I prepared myself for that outcome, to get myself where I am today.
So it almost like motivated you more, pushed you.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It pushed you. So I can definitely salute that. So you get to the point where you quit football. Mm-hmm. What mindset are you in at this point?
Oh man, the mindset after leaving Georgia, I came back from Georgia. The first day here, I called my buddies back there in Georgia and I said, I'm gonna have my own business. I would call them every day and I would just tell them different things I was going through, different avenues. So in order for me to start my own business, I had to have some type of money, And before I went to Georgia, I started doing tattoos, and that was my first entrepreneurial way. You know, that's the first experience I had with making money on my own, generating my own type of money. You know,
Right.
I was doing tattoos. I saved up that money, and then I started a clothing line.
Okay.
I started a clothing line. I bought some clothes. You know, I flipped those a little bit, and I kept doing tattoos. I was doing both of those, and I was not successful enough to where I wanted to be. You know, I was not good enough at tattoos. I was not good enough at selling clothes, but I knew I wanted to be a business owner. I didn't have a background in finance. I didn't have a business degree. I didn't do any of that stuff in college because I had other people doing stuff for me.
Yeah.
But I knew that's what I wanted to do.
So you didn't want to work for nobody.
Nah, didn't want to work for nobody. So that was my first stint at being an entrepreneur. So when I came back from Georgia, I got 4 jobs. I was a janitor at Nespresso. I was a fucking janitor at 24 Hour Fitness. I was a fucking janitor at a nursing home. And this other company was like a sanitarial type of job, cleaning fucking wheelchairs. I had 4 jobs. I worked 4 jobs in one day. I didn't have no car. I borrowed my homeboy's car. And I used his car and I rented it from him.
So how did you work 4 jobs in one day?
How? I fucking dropped my nuts and let them hang, you know?
Right.
Because I had to do it. I mean...
So like what time did you wake up in the morning?
There was no waking up in the morning. I only slept 30 minutes in a day in a parking lot at the mall, at North Park Mall. I slept in my homeboy's car 30 minutes out of the day. It was just like a fucking power nap. That's it.
For how long did you do this?
Oh man, shit. I did this for like 2.5 months. 2.5 months, I saved my money. I saved my money. I fucking got another car because at that time I was homeless. When I decided, hey, I'm doing this on my own, you know?
Right.
I was homeless, so I saved enough money, I got another car. So I'm renting my homeboy's car, but the car that I bought didn't fucking work, and I was just putting my shit in it, you know? I just left my stuff in the car.
The storage unit almost.
Storage unit almost, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm working these jobs, man, and I'm realizing that I don't want to fucking do this for the rest of my life. And I can't get a corporate America job, because I already told you my background.
Right.
So I'm just pushing, and it's just driving me every day, and I have never been so positive and so forthcoming on the outlook I had on life because I knew this is not what the